And good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with your sensei Bob. What's shaking bacon? Every morning I wake up, especially this morning, I woke up to I have a new bird in my neck of the woods. It is one of those birds that springs back to life every time it catches fire. Um, and it nested itself right under the eaves of my roof of my deck of the man cave. So it's pretty loud. It's kind of laughs. And so this morning, just as day broke, maybe 5:30, 6 o'clock, this thing started laughing, right? And I've been hearing it, and it moves from one corner of the neck of the woods to the next, really like faster than you could think a thing could fly, right? So it's like teleporting, right? Because I got 2 acres, and so it's like way over on that, and then over there, and then right there at my next to me, then way over there. It's like pretty amazing. And the fireflies are out, but not like they normally are. They're like flares, and they're not lines, and they jump around too. From so I have these big, 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 tall. I cut all the major trees down in the center ridge of my hollow, and so I could drain it out, right, and get sun on it, so it wouldn't be, the mud apocalypse that it was. And I there were tulip poplars growing kind of on the edges of my property line, so I that's where I stopped out. I let for a good 50 feet of those tulip poplar be my my fence line, basically. Now they have gotten really amazingly tall. Basically, almost 200 feet, if not taller. I mean, way, way taller. So, sunrise and sunset, it's amazing because the tops, as the sun is going down, the mountains, I'm down in a holler. So, around 4:35, the sun. Miss Pamela, good morning, Al. And conversely, the other side, coming up the east, it kind of lights up the trees behind me. So I sit out in the middle in my nice comfy chair. I got a friend of mine gave me a couch the other day. Really one of those gigantic, long, curvy couches that you can sit a whole bunch of people on. So I'm going to start having classes again because I have such a screen to show the essence of the you know demonized you know the people of the earth. I've been reading my Bible because what else do I got to do? Writing and reading, and once in a while doing one of these. And they, demonic possession, right? So, and that's basically sin, right? Because what happens is, the word F-U-C-K, right? What does that word mean? Fornicate under church and king. Did you know that curse? Which is you guys know what stitchins are? They're tools, right? And they're either images or words, and our spelling in most languages, if not all, are relatively spells. That's why they call it spelling, right? Hebrew, every letter is a number, and same in English. A B C D E F G. There's 24 of them. So each one, A is number 1, B is number 2, right? So you put those numbers together in words, and they make basically algorithms, right? That run our DNA and everything else. So when you have laws and rules and grammar, these are all mechanisms to control you. I don't believe a word I say, This is just a story. This is story time. I'm your griot. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Dreamy Dream Land with Sensei Al Bob. I, your griot, here to tell you a story. Right? So, I was out and about last Monday, Tuesday, and a friend of mine said, "Hey, I'm going to get rid of this couch." Right? And it was like, one of those goodwilly kind of Goodwill isn't too Goodwill, but there, other thrift stores and shops and stuff. And this guy had this thing there, and he's a really kind of gruff old guy, but he's got a heart of gold, and he pretty much hires everybody out of jail who's on alcohol or drugs, and he does 12 steps. If you want a job here, this is what you got to do. And he does a really good job of it too. So I come in there and give people readings and listen to their stories and help them get through their issues, or at least illuminate them. They have to get through them themselves. I can illuminate things, but you got to do the work. So, and every time I put together my mystery school, people say, "I'll give you $300. I want a certificate to say that I'm a shaman." I'm sorry, that's not how it works. It's shamanism isn't a religion or a business or any of the above, which FUCK stands for, right? Fornicate under church and king. What does that mean? Fornicate, what does that word mean? If you take it back to Sumerian, it means to disconnect from the one God, right? The God that animated you, right? That gave you life, right? And then you slowly die. And that was the dynamic of the garden and Adam and Eve eating the fruit. Now, hey, God made everything, so God knew that Adam and Eve were going to do this, right? So, pretty much everything, you have a free will to decide pretty much how it's going to go, but where you circumstance, right? You die. I've died 7 times. I have a little time into it. I was an EMT, surgical EMT for 3 years, and up there in the Finger Lakes, right? And right where 91 hit another interstate, and they didn't have a clover leaf, and smash, crash, boom, bash, at least 2 to 5 times a week. Serious, unbelievable mayhem, like war zone type of violent physical harm to the riders of the cars and trucks and bicyclists and pedestrians. Anyway, so I saw a lot of death. I mean, I was right there in the ambulance talking, and that was my job. Come on, you're doing fine. You're both there. We're going to be at the hospital in 5 seconds. Just keep, so we could get them into the ER. It was in 95%, no matter how screwed up they were. These guys would at least keep them going, right? They may not want to keep going, but at least keep them going, right? So our job was to get them there, kind of mushed up maybe, but all in one piece. And people are having a good time here. That's why I like having breakfast here, and lunch and dinner, because people are having a good time. So, Pamela, what's shaking? Bacon. So anyway, I got there, and no one's there to help me, right? But they have a loading platform, and the said couch was on a dolly. Okay. So, and it was on its side, not on its legs, on its side. And so I kind of rolled it, and it was the loading platform was at the same height as my car. So I got my car, I backed up my car, and I rolled that dolly to the point where, a quarter of the couch was on top of the roof of my car, and then I kind of just pushed it forward, and it slid so sweetly. And I was wondering, how am I going to do it? Do I need to rent a truck? Blah 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 blah. Their truck with that blah 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 blah. Blah 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 blah. And oh, God said, "Don't wait, I got this." So the whole time I'm going, "Okay, God's got this. I don't have to worry." It slides on there nice. Then I said, "Hey, you guys gonna need rope?" No. So I first pack all the cushions into my living vehicle, and and you say living vehicle, what is that? That's when other things live in your vehicle other than you and along with you. And so, a homeless guy. And so I got bunnies and mice and voles and all kinds of things that have gotten escalators into my car. So I have to keep, you know, the amount of food that I got in there down. So anyway, oh look, there's rope. So I found rope and I kind of tied each leg because now the top of the couch was on the top of the car and the legs were standing up, so I could tie the legs down to the posts. And the post is that piece of metal that the door either closes on or closes on. Right? So that's a post. Open up the two doors, you can tie things around it. So I did that, and I drove the 50 miles up and down and up and down and up and down and up, and it was shoo, 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 shoo. And there was no traffic on the road, and I did a nice 45 the whole way there. Got home, no problem. How am I going to take it off, right? So, how am I going to take it off? So I just kind of drove into the forest. As far as the forest would let me drive, because that's where I wanted to put this couch. So I let the couch decide, and God to decide where I was going to put that couch, right? And so it made it right to where the fire pit was. The little path got narrower and narrower and less, able to have a vehicle. I didn't want to stick my car in there forever. So the front of the car was pointed downhill. So I undid all the rope except for the two in the back, and I started sliding it, and it's on the hill, so it slid off the rope down onto the, front of the windshield and then on the hood, and it didn't put any singular pressure on anything to break anything. And I had these two ropes, and I had one coming up out the door over the last peg of the couch, and then back and around, and then out on the other peg. And I just kind of let go the rope, and it slowly, gently eased the couch down, and then stood it straight up like this. So I kind of danced the couch into the where I wanted it, into position in the forest, and then I just let it easily. I still had a rope around one end of it and threw it over a big branch and just kind of eased this big, heavy thing, probably weighed 200 pounds. Right, so I thought I was going to need like 5 guys, but God did it, right? And that's what we would call that generally a miracle. Now, generally, if I go, oh, there are my keys, that's a miracle, right? Generally, if any of this electronic stuff that I use works, that's a miracle, right? There is no sign, bigger or smaller miracle. It's just a friggin' miracle. God is on God is smiling on you this day. So every morning I wake up in screaming pain, and I not only woke up to the screaming pain, but I heard the screaming big bird outside my man cave screaming. And he did just like it sounded like an alarm clock, but louder, right? But it was, perfect timing between each screech. What do they call those things? When the bird, emulates and then is born again, right? There's a term for that. So thank you for the thumbs up and the watching. If it's still Pamela, thank you very much, Miss P. And so here we are, springtime. Everything's coming to life. It has basically leafed out about 95% in the deep green and everywhere else, and it'll probably have a little bit more to leaf out, maybe 5% more to really make it the deep green. Right now it's kind of deep green, right? But you can still kind of see through the forest. I like it when you can't see through the forest, So I'm thinking of reanimating my school, and anyone who wants to come and visit, get a hold of me at the dudeawake42 at gmail, dudeawake42 at gmail. and we can discuss, right? Because it's really really popping, meaning because of the dichotomy. And see, that's the big problem of the human race is that we live in a dualistic world, right? Shouldn't be. There's a singularity of life called love's co-creation, but everyone's so stuck in their ego and their fear and their anxieties and blah blah blah. When none of that stuff means anything, right? So it's up to you. It's up to you to change, to make things work. But all you have to do is let God take care of all the major things. You're just there as the co-pilot, right? You're there to co-create, to give a vehicle for co-creation, right? So, and every morning I wake up to pain and my body doesn't really work, but I meditate and pray. And, good prayer is conscious intent I am, conscious intent I am, intent I am. Oh, conscious intent I am, conscious intent I am, conscious intent I am. Oh, right. So you do that, and the conscious intent you put, anything you want to do. Drive the car, get out of bed, get your legs to work, get your heart working, get everything working in homeostasis, balance. That's what conscious intent I am. It's about. So, but everyone around is cruising in. All the cockroaches from Florida and Texas and Florida and Jersey and Massachusetts and Charlotte, North Carolina. That's a big cockroach town. It used to be the Queen's City. It used to be so nice, but not anymore. I had a friend who lived in the suburbs of Charlotte in the 80s, and I, would go visit him every so often, especially if I was heading to Florida. I'd take the old 77 right by Charlotte. And I used to be the only road, 6, 80, whatever, and a bunch of other roads circled it like a Stalag 13. And anyway, one day I went to visit him after not seeing him for about a year. And called him up and said, "Hey, come by." He said, "Oh, well, good luck with that." I said, "What do you mean?" He says, "Well, you'll see when I get here." So I get there, and when you get here. I got there, and this is suburbs, maybe 10, 15 miles outside of Charlotte, right? Suburbs, track homes, right? And next to his track home is a 35-story office building. And people have sold their lots to, developers to build these honking things. And they're on, suburban roads, so that one building, 30 something stories high, has maybe 1,200 people working in it. And, when they come and when they go, these two little lane suburban roads and the big trucks delivering stuff there. Ooh, so that's basically the problem with Charlotte today. So all the people, oh, it's so terrible there. So they brought all of their fear, all their terribleness. I mean, Colonel Sanders at the end of the Forest Service Road, he's in a cul-de-sac. If he was worried about attacks, he shouldn't have put himself in a cul at the end of a Forest Service road where there's no way out. So he's taken other people's property and put big fences around him until those people realize, because they're not here. This whole neck of the woods is Forest Service land, except this one little chunk that got sold to a church, and they were going to build houses for their churchy folk, And so it's going to end up being the Branch Davidian, but Colonel Sanders running it. So, I'm, they're my neighbors. I have to. Actually, it's been a great blessing that they showed up because, for 18 years I was all by myself in God's garden paradise, and my friends were Mr. Bunny and Mr. Squirrel, and they showed up, And basically, all of nature died, because it was so sensitive, so pure, so amazingly in connection with me and itself. Now, the biome is still there. That ain't going nowhere. But the surface things, all the animals left, except for a number of really strange animals. I wish I could remember the name of the bird that comes back. Starts with a T. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, after burning up, it was a big Harry Potter thing. Right? The bird always dropped the big fancy sword when it was needed. So um, that's what this story is about. It's about grace. What is grace? Grace is an attitude that we have when we have faith in God's love and commitment to emulating Jesus's unconditional forgiveness. So, yes, I can be a cheeky monkey. Yes, I can, always say things that bring people up on their short hairs. But I myself am practicing to my best ability, unconditional love and unconditional forgiveness. Right? And that goes, and so Colonel Sanders and Grandpa Cockroach and all the rest of the tweakers, they know this, they feel it, even though they can't express it. Except sometimes it makes them feel challenged. Sometimes make them feel inadequate, and that can be a threat to their ego. But their deeper self, their true state of their spirit is understanding, hey, this guy's actually trying to help me because they're all alcoholics, they're all on drugs, they're all, just self-deluding, right? But that's our world. What do you think Ukraine is? What do you think China is? What do you think Turkey is? What do you think our government is? In Canada and Mexico and you name it. You tell me one place that's in homogeneous balance with God's unconditional love. You name one country, one people, one political structure, one religion. And I'm so upset, not upset. I'm tired because over the years I was a liberal. Well, then I realized liberals are just people who feel guilty about being racist. And then I was progressive, and then I realized, progressive was just somebody like Bernie Sanders who will sell his mother out for a nickel. I mean, listen, that guy should be president. I mean, he was filling football stadiums with thousands of people when Hillary Clinton could barely put 300 people in a high school or gymnasium. It's give me a break. And she won? No. What happened was Hillary Clinton was the only person the Democrats could put up against Donald Trump where Donald Trump would win because she was so disliked, to the point that they would even go for Donald Trump. And the other thing about Donald Trump is no one knew who Donald Trump was. Everyone saw him on his TV show. You're fired. He wore a nice suit. He was lit nicely, but he was never part of the show even, right? Just, he would go into the boardroom and you're fired. That was it, right? Too bad. I like the way everything hangs, but, you're fired. And so it's, so no one had an idea of who he was. And he came down that escalator and played to everyone's fears, statistically enough to get enough votes that he could, and he had, that data analytic guys taking all the stuff from, social media to understand, well, we got 3 votes over here and 4 votes over here. And, that's how we won, And then he spoke in a way that most people, it spoke to their fear and idiosyncratic nature of being a nihilist, So there you go, But that makes for an amazing game show. And that's what this planet is. It's a game show. The only thing that Donald Trump had to sell himself as a presidential candidate, but said he was a game show host. That was it. I mean, anybody from New York knew the guy was a jerk. Knew that he was basically he made his he didn't even make a fortune, but he made his money out of cheating people by going broke, right? And he would always be the last guy standing, having the money. He'd always, make sure he didn't pay his bills. And he made that was the art of the deal: cheat, lie, and steal. Right? That was, and he didn't even write that book. You know, and most people in New York City didn't know Donald Trump to the point that they said, "Oh, that guy's just a jerk. I don't want to have anything to do with him." Right? Did New York City vote totally for Donald Trump? No. No. And New York City isn't a liberal city. No, sorry, not really. Because liberals are just people who feel guilty about being racist. Right? Now, um, so here I'm out in the deep green, and it's getting less green. This summer is going to be a good summer. Every day I'm awake is a good day, right? Every season I experience is a good season, right? And I'm like yesterday, I was, somebody had given me a bunch of rotten food, but rotten food is food at its essence like, and there was a rotten pineapple or two, amazing. So sweet, just and the same with kiwis, they were just unbelievable, and a bunch of orange. They were like, looked like they were, going south. Cut them in half, put them in the juicer. That orange was so sweet, like, and it was warm. You know, it was still good. Orange juice warm. When orange juice is good warm, it's good. So I cleaned up the house. I dug around because when flies are occurring in your house, there's food buried somewhere under the couch or whatever. So it wasn't raining most of the day. It was a nice day, so I didn't go anywhere. Like today, we're gonna thunderstorm later. So I thought, I need a day or two of sunniness to rip things apart, to go through stuff. Because if I start ripping apart and then a thunderstorm comes through, everything gets washed out. So that's one of the problems living in the forest. I don't live in a house. I live in the forest, right? In the man cave, and the rest of the forest. I have all these healing hammocks. That deal with different because it's so energetic. That's why I want to bring back my mystery school because it could help a lot of people, especially people who feeling close to understanding the deeper connectivity they have to love's co-creation. Right? People who are totally whacked, like Colonel Sanders and Grandpa Cockroach, and you know the slaves. I mean, he actually has slaves. He's got a bunch of pop-ups, and he took over my bus. Right? It's taken him almost a year to pay, a nibbling fee and getting rid of. He's got this other place that he says he's going to take it to, but I'm just, it'll be his thing to worry about. And the guy staying in it, he's a nice enough guy that I put him in there in the middle of winter. Colonel Sanders went back to Florida because it was so freaking cold. Took the kids and spent 3 or 4 weeks there. And he told the tweakers, we're going to stay in your house. And he said, oh no, you're not. I'm locking up, turning everything off, and you just go to sleep out in the woods. And he calls himself a Christian. So he still owes me some cash, and so and he hasn't been able to pay me for the last 9 weeks. Right? The deal was supposed to be solidified the beginning of March, and he hasn't been able to pay me since then. He's only been able to pay me $25, right? And getting that was like brain surgery. But he spends literally $200 on alcohol every other day or so. So he spends about close to somewhere between $300 and $600 just on alcohol, not with drugs. I have no idea, but I can count the bottles, right? And so, and he's getting fatter and fatter because alcohol packs it on, right? And me, because he has so many tweakers coming and going, I have to take care of the road, right? Otherwise, it's going to fall in disrepair. There's certain parts of it that I don't need to touch because I don't go on it. I used to take care of it, but he doesn't even say thank you, right? And when I first was taking the road apart to put it back together so it could stay there after he destroyed it, um, what are you doing? It's got a bump. What? That's a speed bump. No, it's a drain. You can come and help me and we'll get it done faster. But if I have to do it all by myself, 75-year-old guy, but doing that, and I don't, he works and works, and then he's exhausted. Me, I work about 20 minutes, and I bring I bring the tools and a chair. I find a nice place to put the chair in the woods, and then I work. And then I go sit there, read the Bible or another book. I've been reading the series Master and Commander. That's a good series. Anyway, so if you want to come to the mystery school, I tell you guys. So I'm going to give you a little heads up. Okay. Take that breath in. Conscious intent I am. Conscious intent I am. Conscious intent I am. Conscious intent I am. Om. Conscious intent I am. Conscious intent I am. Conscious intent I am. Om. So you want to come to mystery school? Get a hold of me at the Dude Awake 42 at Gmail. All lowercase, all in one thing. The Dude Awake 42 at Gmail. And as you're breathing in, you're breathing in the prana. That's the life force. That is God's unconditional love for us that are co-creation. Be there. Feel it. Close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, you see the silver gold screen in front of you. That's your imagination. Where you have REM. And that is the doorway, the luminescent vortex. And you walk through it, and Van Gogh, there you are in your Akashic record, the library of all of your experiences. See it clearly. And now see the deep green all around. And I have at least 20 beautiful, beautiful little, campsites to put your tent in, right? And I have this beautiful deck, garage, and my man cave. And I have plenty of space that you can just make a nice little place for yourself. See it clearly. All these big, beautiful trees around you. And all well drained. So if it rains, you don't really get wet. I mean, you do have to bring a tent. You do have to bring a tarp. You do have to bring a cup, a bowl, and a spoon. And you do have to bring some food that you would like to eat and share with the other students and me, right? And that food does not need to be processed, but it can be less processed than more processed, right? So you read the label and it doesn't have corn syrup in it and blah, 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 certain things. But, in reality, unless it's like dioxin, but even that you can eat. I have friends from Vietnam who got so dosed in dioxin from Agent Orange, but they're still alive. I mean, they wish they weren't. I mean, they're rotting apart. They are just, when you read the Bible about the guy they kept bringing back from the dead, it was a leopard, and and at the temple, he would sit there and beg for alms, and that was his job. He would give half of them back to the temple, because they gave him a spot to put his rug, and he could sleep there. It was somewhat covered out of the blaring sun, and he could get a little water, but they wouldn't really feed him unless they paid him some more. So he would beg, and he'd give a cut to the temple, and Lazarus was our man. And the rich man came and said to the scribe, get rid of these people. They're annoying. They smell bad. Uh, you know, you know. And the guy said, well, it's part of our revenue stream. We can't get rid of these guys. It's in the Bible. We have to be somewhat, but it's our revenue stream. I mean, these guys give us more money than you do. So anyway, so the guy went away in a huff, and he's a rich man, a really rich man, powerful man, right? Then he dies, and so does Lazarus about the same time. And the really, really rich guy who had been tithing, like the Bible says, and blah, 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 doing everything the Bible said to be a good Jew. And, he's the chosen one. He's supposed to go straight to heaven. He's paid everything up. And he finds himself in the lake of fire. How did this happen? And there was Abraham across the street and said, hey, Abraham, what am I doing here? What? Look, there's a smelly leopard. What's he doing? He's at your bosom, in heaven. And what are you doing? Yeah, why is it going on? So when you come up to the deep green, you will see all of this right in front of your eyes, just as you're seeing it right now through the imaginary mirror, right? All around you see it, right? But you ignore it. You got to go to work. You want to go out to a disco. You got your girlfriend just had an argument. Now you're going to have makeup sex. Seems the only kind of sex you can have is makeup sex instead of blessed co-creation with love, right? So that's what I have every day, right? That's why I'm still alive. I'm here to tell you, you have this opportunity. This is not scary times. It's not always the other times. Oh, yes. Only those who give me enough money to the corporate church will go to heaven. Sorry. Not going to happen. Anyway, end of times ain't coming anytime soon, right? And you're not going any place anytime soon either. Now look into your imaginary mirror, look around. There's a big fireplace in front of you. In front of it is that big couch that I brought into the deep green there, so you guys can sit on it and be comfy. And a little coffee table in front, so yummies can be shared. And then behind that is the reading table and a nice reading chair. And to the left of the table is your librarian, your animal totem, and your guardian angel. See them clearly. Sit down at your reading table. Your librarian brings your big Akashic record. Look all around, and all those in the fireplace. So those aren't stones; those are big books. Those are Akashic records. See it clearly. Right? And it opens up the book, and each page is like 20 inches by 20 inches, so it's 40 inches across the book and 20 inches down. You put your right hand on that right page that's blank, and the left on the left page that's blank, and you lean into your Akashic record, and you evacuate. You throw up. You eliminate all the toxins from your body, all the emotional toxins, everything. Just right? And now it's a squiggly mess, almost 2 pages. It's like a Rorschach test. And every few seconds, the squiggly mess moves around and stops at a toxic moment in your life, a trauma, right? Ooh, look at that. That's when I was born. Ooh, look, they were grabbing me by the head. Oh, that's why my neck hurts. Oh, okay. I'll stand a different way. Oh, look. I blew a bad, shitty fart in my father's face when he was trying to put the diapers on. But I was getting too close to my anal port. Oh, my God. I mud flooded him. Oh, my. And that's why he's beat me for the rest of my life. Right? So look at all those traumas. And just, they're no longer in you. You feel much better. If you come to the magic school, the mystery magical tour, go. Stones have a Welcome to the magical tour. Da, 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 da. Come to take you away. We come to I think it's the Stones. Magic Bus was the album, I think. And that was a bus that went from Istanbul to London, right? Carrying hash. And no one ever stopped it because it was being brought to you by the reptile family. Come to take you away. Woo. So 40 minutes into it, let's see how much juice we got left. What time is it? Oh, it's 10:30-ish. Okay. So close that book. Boom. And all that feeling of anxiety and fear and self-doubt and self-love is gone. You feel like a balloon, like a child, just so light, and you're like just floating along. You're like a butterfly. You come to the deep green. I got a bunch of butterfly trees. Madame Butterfly and her clan are there. They're the ones who still stuck around, and a few of the birds. I wish I could remember the one that comes back from death in a big fire. Starts with a T. Anyway, so how about some thumbs up, guys? Let's get the algorithm kicking. But May 8th was my 5th year of doing this, and I have over 2,000 shows, and YouTube only says I have 1,800. Anyway, who knows? But the World Wide Web and the powers that shouldn't be don't realize, or they do, and let me do this, is that I shamanically put these into the World Wide Web. Everyone who sees anything on this thing sees and feels this power of love's co-creation. Sorry, the minstrels who shouldn't be in control. Talking about minstrels who shouldn't be in control, let's reach out to a few folks. Let's see if anyone answers the phone. Do 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 do. Mm. Here's a minister of fun. See if he answers. I ordained this guy. I used to be the minister of fun. I turned it over to him because fun means a waste of time. So, and now when I told him that, he changed it to fun and joy or something like that. Boop, 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 boop.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
Mailbox is full and cannot accept any requests. No, so does mine. But people put so much, empty it out. Next day, it'll be full. It's like, so why do I even bother? But anyway, there's still 3 of you there. Oh, it's when it hits 43 minutes and 33 seconds. I'm out of here. Gotta go do things. There we go. Love you guys. Stay well. I'll probably come and do something this afternoon. So come with some questions. That would be nice.